Alright folks, Randy here with RTS Mobile Gaming. We're talking about Diablo 4, the Advanced Earthen Bulwark build. This is the iteration upon the build that I published about a week ago. This has about 400 to 500% more survivability. It's got triple or so of the damage I was doing, and overall some insane optimizations and some theory crafting improvements that I think you'll really appreciate. So definitely stick around. In about 10 seconds, we're going to jump over to the expedited version, check out the legendary aspects, the abilities, the Paragon points, and the spirit boons, and why this is different and better than the previous build. Here we go. Get excited! Alright folks, let's talk real quick about the legendary aspects, the spirit boons, the abilities, and the Paragon tree for this build, okay? First, this is an iteration. This is a massive benefit over my previous version of the build. My previous Earthen Bulwark build has, 30-minute explanations for all the different skills and why they're great. Check that out if you want the long-winded version. This video is going to focus on the main changes I made between that build and this build. Get excited, here we go. Okay, so first, I want to talk about what I've done survivability-wise, because I've dramatically, and I mean dramatically, increased the survivability on this build at least 3 or 4 times what it used to be. Okay, I've done that by doing a couple things. One, I have added damage reduction while injured to my boots, my pants, and my amulet. Okay, my boots have damage mitigation when injured, my pants have damage mitigation when injured, and my amulet has damage mitigation when injured. That means that, since I'm at 75.5%, I'm basically increasing the value of my HP and my barriers by more than 400%, because I'm only taking 25% of the damage, okay? So, you want to keep your life below 35%. It's really not a big deal, and you'll be spamming Earthen Bulwark more often than not. There is only, with this particular build I'm running now, like worst case scenario, if the world ends, I have no luck, I don't trigger any cooldown mitigation procs, I only have a 0.41 second gap between an old Earthen Bulwark exploding and this new Earthen Bulwark applying, okay? So really there's almost no time when I'm not full of a huge barrier that takes 25% damage, okay? That's the first main part of the build that I've done. Next, I have switched out Great Staff of the Crone with the Butcher's Cleaver. Great Staff of the Crone provided a lot of nice synergy, a lot of nice flow, really great movement, and overall operational effectiveness for this build. However, I have switched that out for Butcher's Cleaver for 2 reasons. One, Butcher's Cleaver applies 100% chance lucky hit when I critical strike an enemy to fear them and slow them for 4 seconds, okay? It also has a damage multiplier in the critical strike here, which Great Staff of the Crone does not have a damage multiplier on its stats, alright? So that's really nice, and I really enjoy that. But the other reason number 2, is because it allowed me to add 2 things to the build. I was able to add an additional legendary aspect to the build, which is this damage dealt multiplier when I have a barrier up, which is all the time, okay? And the fact that I can add a totem to my build means I can add 25% cooldown reduction, I can add basic attack speed, I can add more barrier, ladies and gentlemen. More barrier has been added to the build now, and I'm dealing more damage. Not only do I have a higher base damage for Earthen Bulwark, but I have an additional multiplier for the build, okay? And the cooldown reduction, this additional 25% cooldown reduction, helped me get Earthen Bulwark down to this 9.41 second range, where, like I said, if the world ends and I somehow can't trigger an Earthen Bulwark within the 9-second base duration, there's only a 0.41 second gap, which is not ideal, but it's not bad, okay? If I do get into a gap, I can obviously just sprint away, okay, and get out of there with my evade ability. My boots happen to have total of 3 bonus evade stacks, which is great. All right, so survivability has gone up enormously. Damage has gone up enormously, right? My damage now has additional critical strike modifier from the weapon, has additional barrier modifier from the totem, and it has additional legendary aspect damage multiplier from the legendary aspect, okay? The other thing that has allowed me to do, that has allowed me to put on this particular amulet, which, again, has damage reduction while injured, okay? But it happens to have a legendary aspect on the amulet that I'm really, really loving. This is absolutely indispensable for the build. If you are running a version of the build with enough cooldown to get below 10 seconds on Earthen Bulwark, you should absolutely not put on your Nature's Fury key aspect legendary aspect here on your amulet. Put it on another piece of equipment like your helmet or your chest or your gloves, right? You want to have this armor bonus stacking buff on your amulet because it's going to cause the armor buff to stack 50% faster and go 50% higher. When this is maxed out, I literally have 100% physical damage reduction from enemies of the same level. It actually says that. I have 100% physical damage reduction from enemies of equal level. Obviously, as you fight enemies who are higher level than you, that damage scales back a little bit, that damage mitigation. However, having that much armor is just insane. Okay? So those are the main benefits of this build. Like I said, what we've got here is the Great Scaff of the Chrome was swapped out. I added on 3 new pieces of gear that happen to really prioritize damage reduction while injured. And because of that, I was able to put a multiplier aspect on my totem, a bunch of cooldown reduction on my totem, and an armor bonus on my amulet. So my survivability, like I said, is like 4 or 5 times what my survivability was before with the Earthen Bulwark build. I'm almost invincible. It's insane. Okay? I also crowd control the crap out of everything. Everything that I critical strike gets crowd controlled. It's absolutely insane. This alone reduces the damage I take, because if I run into a pack of enemies and I critical strike 1/3 of them, 1/3 of the enemies are now not attacking me for 4 seconds. And guess what? Once they're not feared, I'm going to slap them in the face with a poison creeper and lock them in place with immobilization for another 3 seconds. You're looking at 7 or more seconds of crowd control on a pack of enemies just by having critical strikes involved, okay? Absolutely insane! Alright, now, those are the things that I've changed from my previous version of the build. Let's now talk really quick about how the build works. I'll go through all the aspects and the abilities and the Paragon tree super fast. Like and sub if you feel like this has helped you, because I love this build. Here we go. Alright. Helmet has Nature's Fury key passive aspect on it, okay? The chest piece has Earthen Bulwark duration on it. The gloves have basic skill attack speed. And by the way, I'm trying to roll barrier on my chest piece. I don't want Earthen Bulwark. I would like barrier. Have had no luck rolling it. I'm up to like 7 or 8 million gold to roll. I'm working on it, okay? Gloves. Attack speed on the gloves. Basic attack speed aspect on the gloves, okay? These gloves, obviously, I would like to have earth damage critical strike on them. I need to get better gloves. That's fine. Legs. These legs suck. They have the lowest rolls you could possibly get of all 4 of the stats that I want, but these are the 4 stats that I want on my legs, okay? Plus the aspect that when I do a basic attack, it reduces the damage I take. Ghostwalker boots, okay? So I can move through enemies when I'm unstoppable and get bonus movement speed. It's amazing. Butcher's Cleaver. I can fear and slow everything when I critical strike it. It's amazing. Ancestral Totem here. Okay? We already talked in detail about this, but essentially you get a barrier, which is a damage multiplier on the equation. Amulet. Okay? You absolutely want either natural disaster, or Envenom. Envenom is an even better bonus skill to have on your amulet. But Natural Disaster is going to give me 12% bonus damage to enemies that are vulnerable. It's not that bad. Could be better, but I'll take it for now. And Envenom would give me 30% bonus multiplier on my critical strike. Okay? Critical strike damage. And I'm not saying additive. It's not additive 30%. Both of these are multipliers. So I have a 12% multiplier on my necklace now. I'll have a 30% multiplier when I do find a good Envenom necklace. For the rings, you want to have Earth skills deal more critical strike damage or crowd control enemies on your rings. You also want to have critical strike damage, Earth critical strike damage, vulnerable damage, okay? Because all 3 of those are multipliers. This ring actually has 3 damage multiplying modifiers and a critical strike to activate them, okay? This ring is perfect. This is what you want on your ring, hands down. Barrier is great, okay? This is even better. If you can switch out barrier for vulnerable, it's even better than barrier. This ring needs some work. It has a multiplier. It has a barrier, which is a base damage, okay, and then critical strike chance. Damage to injured, I don't like it. I'm going to replace it when I get a chance. I haven't found a better ring yet, but basically having this ability, this aspect on your ring, allows me to do bonus critical strike damage, which is a multiplier, and bonus critical strikes chance for storm skills, which is going to help me activate everything else. All right? Those are the aspects, folks. Let's talk real quick about the spirit boons. Wariness. Attack speed. Fortify, giving me bonus fortify for 10% of my maximum life when I use a defensive skill. Check. Okay, pack leader, lucky hit resets my champion. I can't even speak today. Lucky, oh my gosh. Critical strikes have a chance to reset my companion skills. Must have. Poison, applying poison is really important in this build. You have a lot of modifiers that require poison to be on the enemy. Plus your poison creeper gives you 20% bonus critical strike chance against the enemy. You absolutely must have this. Okay? And because of all the insane amount of cooldown reduction I have, this thing's down to 11 seconds without any bonuses. Alright, Calm Before the Storm. You could do this, or you can run Obsidian Slam. It's really up to you. I happen to have an ultimate on my bar right now, Petrify. I traded out Bloodhowl for Petrify with this build. Really, either or. Okay? Abilities. Into the abilities, folks. Get excited. Here we go. So, we have reclaimed a few skill points, because I no longer need a few skill points in Claw. I can activate Storm Strike. I can grab 3 points in Predatory Instincts for bonus critical strike chance. You are going to want to max out Earthen Bulwark, because now this is going to really pair nicely with your damage mitigation when injured bonus, right? You can be injured, and the bigger barrier you have, basically every point of barrier is going to be multiplied by 4 as long as you have 75% injured mitigation. Okay? This is the main damage deal of the build. You must have innate Earthen Bulwark. Cyclone Armor. Innate Cyclone Armor. Get this. You want to apply Vulnerable. Vulnerable is one of the only damage modifiers that are multiplicative at the beginning of the equation before you even start getting into everything else. Vulnerable is super key. Apply it as much as you can. Okay? 3 points in Vigilance. Poison Creeper. Must have for the build. You must apply Poison with Poison Creeper and you get a crit bonus. Must have. I swear to God, if you do not run Poison Creeper on your build, I will cut you. We put a lot of stuff into the Wrath Tree, okay? We have Hurricane. Savage Hurricane. 3 points in Elemental Exposure, giving you a 10% chance for every Storm skill to trigger Vulnerable. This will add another 10% roll to your Storm Strike. This will give a 10% roll to your Hurricane. And then instead of getting Natural Hurricane, you can get Savage Hurricane, so you're triggering Vulnerable, and you are reducing enemy damage dealt. 3 points in Envenom is a must-have. You don't need 1 point in Toxic Claws for this build because you're not applying poison with your werewolf skills. Only your Poison Creeper is applying poison in this build. So, like I said, Poison Creeper is a must-have. It's amazing that you're critting so much because you're going to be resetting it every 2 or 3 seconds. You can spam it non-stop. You're basically spamming Bulwark, Creeper, Bulwark, over and over. That's how the build does damage. Crushing Earth, Stone Guard, Safeguard, 3 out of 3 out of 3 for all of those, okay? Petrify is really nice to have on your bar now. It adds it adds crowd control, okay? A total of 4 seconds of crowd control. It adds bonus critical strike to 7 seconds when you're fighting bosses. And it's overall a strong skill to have to complement your crowd control build. 3 points in Defensive Posture to get bonus Fortify. 3 points in Defiance. 3 points in Natural Disaster. Mine has 6 points because I happen to have a necklace with 3 points in Natural Disaster on it. Okay? Resonance is also a great modifier to have on your amulet. If you happen to have Resonance, okay, it'll increase your damage by 18%. It's a multiplier. Really, any of the Natural Disaster and Resonance are both great. Okay? Envenom is the best modifier in the game. Absolutely. So you really want to have Envenom on your necklace if you can find it. The key passive is Nature's Fury. This is important for the build. Paragon Tree. Okay, I'm just going to talk about the glyphs that I'm using, okay, and we'll just walk through real quick what's happening here. So, in the first glyph A, what's happening here? Oh, I went up the right side and grabbed Prime. I also wanted to grab Tenacity for bonus life. This is really, really nice, okay, gives you a lot of bonus life. Impel and Resolve. This is going to give you willpower to help you with your willpower stats for this part of the build. I happen to have a human glyph in here, just reduces the damage I take while human. This is great. This is an additive bonus, so the 35.6% additive, while helpful, is really not that big of a deal compared to some of the multipliers up ahead. All right, from there, we go into the poison tree, guys. We grab the poison glyph board, okay? We grab Heightened Malice. Put this on your bottom left-hand side. Grab Heightened Malice. Throw 1 point up here for the maximum life, because you're already going to pass by it. Why not? All right. Then I'm going to go up the middle here and grab Toxic Bane, giving you a bunch of bonus additive damage to enemies who are poisoned. Okay. You're going to go ahead and grab, and this you're just walking through. You're just pathing through this to get through that area. All right. So hit it on the way up. Overturn. More bonus damage to poisoned enemies plus damage to elites. Very, very nice there. Some additive damage, okay? Both of these are additive. They're not must-haves. Again, they are additive. Into the next section over here. Now we're going to see a lot of bonus damage coming in here in mitigation, okay? So damage reduction when enemies are poisoned. This is really powerful. In addition to bonus damage to poison enemies, now we're now getting a ton of this poison damage modifier, okay? And then for the glyph here, there's a lot of dexterity. Put your exploit glyph here, okay? Put your exploit here. Grab the dexterity. Remember, vulnerability is a multiplying modifier, not additive. So you absolutely want this glyph somewhere in your build. This is a great spot for it. Like I said, it has almost 40 dexterity. I can get another 2 or 3 dexterity spots here if I really want to put some points into it. But for right now, this is 24% vulnerable multiplier, okay? Then we're going to go up here into the Earthen Devastation board, guys. Put Earthen Devastation in the middle. Put your glyph in the top left. Go ahead and work yourself up from left and up, okay? This is going to be a damage additive and a multiplier right here on the left with Oppress. This rare node is great. All right, it also has several critical strike damage modifiers around it, which are multipliers. This is a very, very valuable node. You must have it. Make sure you grab Earthen Devastation. Oh, did I skip the ultimate over here? I didn't talk about the ultimate, did I? Sorry, I skipped Heightened Malice. Heightened Malice gives you bonus damage multiplier against poison enemies when there's 3 or more around you, okay? Really powerful. So we have all these modifiers coming in. Then we get bonus earthen damage against enemies who are crowd controlled. Well, guess what? With my weapon, everybody's crowd controlled all the time, okay? So you have that. Work your way right up the street here with Resolve. I happen to have these 2 dexterity nodes because I need the dexterity to make this glyph work. Okay, I happen to have the territorial glyph in here, which gives me bonus damage to close enemies, and it reduces the damage I take from close enemies, which is everybody, which is great. Okay, go ahead and grab the Earthen Power node here, which is going to give you modifiers. 30% crit damage modifier. Okay, well, it's additive, but the crit damage itself is a modifier. This is an additive stat to your modifier. Okay, bonus critical strike damage. Bonus critical strike damage. You must get it. Go up here to the top left. Get more Earth Skill damage and then more critical strike multipliers. Okay, you must get these. Critical strike, critical strike. Get critical strike damage. You want as much as possible. From there, we're going to move up into the whatever tree this is. I don't know what this one's called. The Thunderstruck tree. I don't know what board this is, but I'm going and grabbing the Thunderstruck tree so I can come over here to the left-hand side. I can grab critical strike damage, and I can grab damage to vulnerable, guys. This is super key for the build as well, okay? I actually don't care at all about Thunderstruck. I'm not even going to get Thunderstruck unless I grab it on the way through things. But what I do want to do here is grab maximum life here next and work my way up to the glyph socket, where I will then grab more bonuses against vulnerable enemies, okay? That's what I would like to see. More critical strike damage here, so I'm going to grab this, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to grab this, I'm going to go up to the glyph. Should be good to go. Okay, so that is the build, folks. If you've enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and sub. I tried to keep it as short and sweet as I could. Randy out.